Here's what we do. Every week we do 7 questions, and we try to get through these 7 questions as best we can. And we try to answer all of them correct. I do not know the questions or the answers right now. I will learn them with you. I will see them with you. I understand there is a time delay, so I'll eat up some of that time while you make your decision. Put your answers in as quickly as possible. I'll get through the questions quickly. You get through your answers quickly, okay? Here we go. Question number 1. On July 6th, 1957, which 2 future Beatles met for the first time at a church event? July 6, 1957, 2 of the Beatles meet for the very first time at a church event. Now, there are only 4 Beatles. Do you know who the 4th one is? No one remembers who the 4th one is. So let's assume it's 2 of the more popular Beatles. That narrows it down to 3. 3 gives you a couple of different chances. You only get 1 time to make the answer. Here are your multiple choice options. I'm going to give credit to Mr. Taney for getting John and Paul in before anybody else. Extra points. Not an extra answer, extra points. Was it John Lennon and George Harrison? Was it Paul McCartney and George Harrison? Was it John Lennon and Paul McCartney? Or was it Ringo Starr and Paul McCartney? Who was it? John and Paul. John and Paul are the answers that are popping up. Yoko and Peter, very funny answer. Very funny answer. John, Paul, George, and Ringo, and there was a 5th. Yes, but you missed a comma, so it looks like John, Paul, George, and Ringo. Your punctuation way off. Don't even try to stun me with your 5th. I also believe that the beginning of the Beatles, that started on July 6, 1957, occurred when a young man named John Lennon met a young man named Paul McCartney. We'll find out if we're right in a few more questions. Question number 2. What famous U.S. document was first read aloud in public on July 8th, 1776? Now, if you've played along with us before, you may know the answer to this question. What famous U.S. document was first read aloud in public on July 8th, 1776? Robert's kicking in. The Pope was a Beatle. Very funny. Robert's kicking in with Ringo and Paul as his answer to the previous question. Here are your multiple choice options for question number 2. Was it the U.S. Constitution? Was it the Bill of Rights? Was it the Declaration of Independence? Or was it the Emancipation Proclamation? Which one was it? July 8th, 1776. Roger with the Declaration. James with the Declaration. Me with the Declaration. And looking to our right, Stacy liked the live, but he's not playing along. Must be distracted by his beautiful wife. Lucy's finally answering the previous question with John and Paul. I got the Declaration. I got the Declaration. I'm missing a couple answers, but I can't stay much longer. I'm going to answer with also the Declaration of Independence. John Lennon and Paul, she says. Bill of Riots. Oh, you're so funny. Online, in real life, not funny at all. But online, you're hilarious. Question number 3. On July 9th, 1981, Nintendo released Donkey Kong. Who was the original hero of the game? When Donkey Kong was released on July 9th, 1981, who was the original hero of the game? Here are your options. Was it the Mario? Hey, it's me, Mario. Was it Mario? Was it Luigi? Was it Donkey Kong? Or was it Link? I don't see why. I mean, it's all about perspective. I don't see why Donkey Kong couldn't have been the hero. You don't know what kind of relationship they had, okay? You shouldn't judge what you don't know. Maybe they had a previously existing relationship. Maybe she was using like drugs or something. And Donkey Kong, maybe the drugs are being provided by Mario. So Donkey Kong is actually the hero who comes in and sweeps her up and tries to rescue her. He's taking her to rehab. Tried to make her go to rehab, and she said, no, no. Everybody is answering while I'm going off trying to save Donkey Kong's reputation. Everybody's saying Mario. And I agree with you. I also believe it was Mario. Question number 4. What weather disaster struck Chicago on July 12th, 1995, in our lifetime? What weather disaster struck Chicago on July 12th, 1995, causing more than 700 deaths? Here are your multiple choice options. Was it a tornado? Was it a blizzard? Was it a heat wave? Or was it a flood? Those are your 4 options. July 12th, 1995, in the city of Chicago. Was it a tornado? Was it a blizzard? Was it a heat wave? Or was it a flood? James pops in with tornado. Robert pops in with a blizzard. Roger pops in with a heat wave. I think Roger's right. First of all, it's hard to have a tornado inside the city of Chicago. The buildings break up the winds, and it's hard. It can happen. A blizzard in July, less likely. It is up north, but it's not that far north. Floods happen, but there's a lot of places. I'm going with Roger on this one. I also believe it was a heat wave. And moving on, question number 5. On July 11th, 1804, what famous duel occurred between 2 U.S. political figures? July 11th, 1804, what famous duel occurred between 2 U.S. political figures? Was it George Washington and Benedict Arnold? Was it Andrew Jackson and Henry Clay? Was it Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton? Or was it Thomas Jefferson and John Adams versus John Adams? What 2 U.S. political figures were in a duel on July 11th, 1804? Aaron Burr is only mentioned once. His opponent, Alexander Hamilton. I will accept that answer for Mr. Taney. I am pausing gently as I wait for the rest of your answers. And Hammy, he finishes it off. So he's going with option C, Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton. The other options out there still available to you. Burr and Hamilton, says Roger. Jackson and Clay, Washington and Arnold, or Jefferson and Adams. Those are your other options available. Robert, Burr and Hamilton. I think he just literally copied and pasted. I feel like he copied and pasted, but I could see one letter's different. So you win. I agree with thee. I believe it was. I know you. No lo sé. No lo sé. No lo so. Yo no sé. Is what Lucy's saying. Burr and Hamilton. It's only famous because of Broadway. On Broadway. How do they do the duel? You will take 10 paces, and I will take 10 paces. You were going to say heat wave. Well, why didn't you? Question number 6. What massive global music event took place on July 13th, 1985? I don't need to read the rest of the question. I don't need to provide you with multiple choice answers. If you don't know about the global music festival that took place in 1985, I don't know if you should be allowed to play this game anymore. I don't know if we should allow you in to give us answers to other questions if you can't get this one right based on that. Global Music Event 1985. Any idea? Don't you shut down on me. I have to move it's so funny if you go a while, you gotta put a piece in. I couldn't fit it. I'm gonna try to fit it in a piece. Robert, going with Woodstock. Now, I will give you credit because you're very small. You were very small at the time, 1985. We are the world. We are the future. We are the ones that make a brighter day, so let's start giving. Global. A global music event that took place in 1985. I will finish with the rest of the question. What massive global music event took place on July 31st, 1985 to raise money for famine relief? Was it Woodstock 85? No. Was it Farm Aid? No. Was it Band Aid? No. Was it Live Aid? Yeah. Yeah, it was freaking Live Aid. Okay? Because we didn't have global music events before 1985. They didn't exist. We had music events around the globe, but we never had one that was simulcast on both sides. It was a big deal. Queen. There is only one answer, and those of you who keep saying we are the world are wrong. Here were your options. Was it Woodstock 85, Farm Aid, Band Aid, or Live Aid? James pops in with Live Aid. Good answer. I concur. I am going to give you a chance to answer, all of you. But if you answer with anything other than Live Aid, well, I don't care. I mean, you're keeping your own score, so I don't care. Oh, my computer's so hot. Why is it so hot? Hey, bitch. Here we go. Finally, last question of the week. I'm feeling pretty confident, to be honest with you. I feel like I'm doing pretty good this week. I don't know about all y'all's. I'm feeling good. I'm going to celebrate with some mac and cheese and a daiquiri while watching hamsters escape. Again, callbacks here make no sense later when I chop all of this up. Only the live audience gets these. Which Supreme Court nominee was rejected by the Senate on July 13th, 1987? If you live it, you love it, you laugh it. I distinctly remember who was rejected in 1987, but I stole the answer from you last time. I'm not going to do this. My answer is locked in. He was he had the Amish. They call it a chin strap. He had a chin strap. I remember this. I just because I had not been privy to meeting Amish and Mennonite peoples, or way back peoples, as I've come to call them. I had never seen someone that wore a beard like that. I'm getting silly answers, but I'll ask the question again. What Supreme Court nominee was rejected by the Senate on July 13th, 1987? Here are your multiple choice options. Was it Merrick Garland, Robert Bork, Clarence Thomas, or Brett Kavanaugh? Now, even if you weren't around in 1987, or if you were very young in 1987, you should be able to figure this out if you're up on today's events. Because when I say the name Brett Kavanaugh, are you thinking 1987? If I say the name Clarence Thomas, are you thinking 1987? If I say Merrick Garland, are you thinking 1987? Maybe you are. James comes in with Clarence Thomas. Robert comes in with Clarence Thomas. Who is? It's okay to think about him in 1987. It's okay to think about Clarence Thomas in 1987. But he's on the Supreme Court, so he didn't get rejected. Lucy says Robert something. And Lucy is the most correct answer right now. Brett, bring me a beer, Kavanaugh. No, that guy is such a goody two shoes. He had the calendars of every day of his life and all the significant events. Like, I want a teddy bear today, yay! And when they came at him with all of the fake accusations, like, no, if I would have raped her, I would have put it on my calendar. It's not on my calendar. Such a goody two shoes. Again, here are your answers. James is changing his answer. Wrong. Here are your options once again. Was it Merrick Garland? Was it Robert Bork? Was it Clarence Thomas? Or was it Brett Kavanaugh? My answer, the correct answer, along with Lucy, who gets credit, is Robert Bork. Why? Because Merrick Garland just served, they tried to make him a Supreme Court justice, and it failed. And then he was director of the Swamp, I think. And then Band-Aid, I jumped. Clarence Thomas is obviously on the court. Brett Kavanaugh is on the court. The person that was rejected in 1987 was a beard chin strap wearing Mr. Robert Bork. That's what I know. And there's Lucy adding on Bork at the end. Please give me the answers after 10 paces. Again, you are your own judge, and I won't look down at you. If you got 0 right, that's okay. If you got all of them right, good on you. But if you're anywhere in between, I don't care. I'm happy for this time together. Here are the correct answers. It was John Lennon and Paul McCartney who met each other together at a church event. It was the Declaration of Independence. It was a me, a Mario. It was a heat wave. It was Alan Burr and Alexander Hamilton. And I'm telling you, as I get closer to 7 for 7, I get more and more excited because I am feeling this, baby. Question number 6 was Live Aid. Question number 7 was Robert Bork. Look at me, I went 7 for 7, and you didn't, and you did, I don't know, but I had a good time, as I do every Sunday morning at 10:30, live on Facebook and on the Talk of the Ticks, doing the supplemental. I remind you today, as I remind you every day, just be the best person that you could be, and if you were a great person today, be an even better person tomorrow. Chick Bruce Sends Her Love. New episode of The Luns B Show is being taped in 28 minutes. I got